Hello everybody, welcome to Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH, and this is Lecture 5, Accounting for Materials Part 1, Forms, Entries, and Recording Systems. At the end of the video, you should be able to define raw materials, differentiate the two systems of inventory recording, familiarize forms used in production related to materials, review journal entries related to materials, and apply two inventory cost flow methods in assigning production costs. Before anything else, please like, share, and subscribe to Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH and hit the notification bell button to alert you of the latest video lessons. For all of your questions, comments, and suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. And for webinar and speakership invites, please send me a message at kevintroy1994@gmail.com. Thank you very much for your utmost support for Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH. And may these videos continue to help students in their online learning and academic development. May these videos continue to help teachers in enhancing their lesson plans and teaching methodologies. Okay, we're ready to start. In the last lesson, we discussed normal costing system and overhead variance. So actually, we already have a nice understanding of the cost accounting process, and now we are ready to dig deeper into analysis dun po sa ating tatlong magkakapatid ng total manufacturing cost. And the first in line that we need to understand is materials. Remember that materials includes all raw materials and other supplies used in the manufacturing process. So lahat po ng materyales, lahat ng ingredients na ita-transform po natin to become finished goods. Okay? Kaya nga po siya tinawag na prime cost na kasama ng labor kasi siya yung pinaka-primary na kailangan natin. Para bang ang dating paano tayo makakagawa ng produkto kung yung mismong materyales na gagawin natin para maging produkto, wala tayo. Okay? You cannot form a product with only labor and overhead. So, materials is talagang yan yung nata-transform po natin to become finished goods. And there are so many kinds of materials depending on the manufacturing process. Some of which are here in our slides na sa harapan po ninyo. Okay? So, these materials will be transformed into very useful products na pwede po nating ibenta after the manufacturing process. Now, we have the following considerations in choosing materials. First consideration, syempre, ano po ba yung type of material na kailangan nating gamitin? Kapag ka po ba tayo ay gagawa ng figurine, talagang diretsong semento ba? O baka plaster of Paris lang? Yung mga ganong decisions, okay? Next is, you also need to consider the quality of materials. Kasi, as you know, mas tumataas ang kalidad ng materials na gagamitin natin, you can expect that the price or the cost will also increase for that, no? Or, talking about quality, baka naman pwedeng medyo lower quality pero matibay pa din, no? So, maraming kailangang i-consider yung company in choosing the right type of material and the quality of that material na kailangan nilang gamitin in the production of any product that they will do. Okay? And then we also have the quantity needed. Siyempre, kailangan planuhin po ng company kung ilan yung quantity na i-order, ilang pounds ang ginagamit na cotton sa isang teddy bear, ilang grams yung hinahalo natin sa ice cream, ilang pounds ng milk, or kasama na rin po dyan yung logistics na para bang kung kailangan natin ng ganito karaming milk, ilang gano'ng katagal na panahon yung kailangan nating hintayin para yung baka ay makuhanan natin ng gatas, yung mga ganon. No? So, marami po talagang kailangan i-consider not only on the type of materials and the quality but also yung quantity and the logistics behind the quantity. Okay? And then lastly po, yung price, syempre. Kaya nga po tayo nagko-cost accounting. It's because we also need to consider the amount of cost per unit. unit na gagastusin po natin pag magpo-purchase tayo ng raw materials and raw ingredients para po sa ating manufacturing process. Okay, it's termed price kasi syempre at first the company will purchase that, but actually yung purchase price na ginastos ng company for those materials, ang tawag na po natin doon, cost of materials. Okay, so those are the 4 considerations in choosing materials. Actually, those are just 4 main considerations, pero marami pa pong kailangang i-consider dyan. Okay, dun sa type of materials, dun sa quality, there are stories behind quality na baka meron tayong non-financial matters that we also need to consider in choosing the quality of materials, di ba? Or dun nga sa quantity, as I've told you, yung ating pong logistics, 'di ba? Na kung sakaling kailangan natin ng ganito karaming gatas for our ice cream, kaya bang ma-deliver sa atin at that point yung ganong karami. So, ano lang to, parang primary considerations, but there are so many things that you need to consider in choosing materials, in purchasing materials, and deciding for the type and quality of materials. Okay, so talking about quality, always remember that managers should remember that as material grade or material quality rises, usually what happens is that tumataas din po talaga yung purchase price natin. Okay? Siyempre, we want to give our customers, parang ano po kasi yung tug of war sa isang manufacturing company. Siyempre, we want to give our customers the best quality products. Pero, ang kailangan po natin sa cost of production, maging mababa. Yun nga lang po, tug of war talaga yan, no? Kailangan natin ng low production cost, pero kailangan natin ng high quality products. So, paano po kaya siya properly mababalanse ng isang manufacturing company? Okay? So, talagang pag-aaralan po yang mabuti. And, babalik ka po sa strategy natin, di ba? Going back to strategic management, pili ka, product differentiation o cost leadership. Pag product differentiation, baka kakaiba talaga yung quality ng product mo na kahit medyo mahal at pricey, ikaw pa rin yung hahanap-hanapin. Sana all hinahanap-hanap. O di po kaya, kung ikaw ang cost leader, medyo mababa ang cost of production mo, you can offer lower prices in the market. So, the company needs to balance kung ang gagamitin ba nilang materials, and we're relating this to materials, ang gagamitin ba nating materials is something na talagang kailangan high quality, baka naman walang masyado bumili sa atin because yes, maganda nga ang quality pero baka sobrang taas na ng presyo natin. So, kailangan din i-relate talaga yon ng yung decision na yon, kailangan talagang i-relate sa production process. Okay? O baka naman ang baba ng presyo natin, yun pala ang nagagamit nating materials, ang pangit ng quality, madaling masira. Di ba? It's really a perfect balance. No? Entities should achieve a perfect balance between choosing the high quality materials at the lowest possible cost para pareho nilang ma-achieve na maganda yung produkto and at the same time mababa ang production cost natin relating to materials. Okay, so when all quantity and price information is now available, component quantities are multiplied by unit prices to obtain each component's total cost. So, ganun lang naman po tayo, yung number of units multiplied by the unit cost, yun po yung ire-report natin na cost of materials sa ating pong statement of cost of goods manufactured and sold. So, ganun lang talaga siya, units times cost. Tapos na ang usapan, okay? So, we have 2 systems of inventory recording. Ito po ay familiar na kayo dito, but on a merchandising perspective kasi to. Pero actually, we can also use this sa ating pong raw materials inventory. Yung ating pong periodic inventory system at saka po perpetual inventory system. Pag periodic inventory system po, ang nangyayari is physical counting of materials at the end of an accounting or production period na ang nagiging basis po natin ng ating ending inventory is yung physical count na ginawa natin in our periodic counting of inventory. Unlike po sa perpetual inventory system, ang ginagawa po natin dyan is nagfa-facilitate po tayo ng recording kada movement ng materials in every purchase of material and issuance to production through sa ating stock cards. Inventory records are updated in every internal manufacturing transaction. Okay? So, pagka po bumili ang company at pumasok sa warehouse or sa storage yung materials, re-record mo yung purchase agad. At kapag ka po nag-issue ng materials papunta sa production, so syempre, lalabas siya sa warehouse or lalabas siya sa storage. Kailangan mo rin pong i-record yon doon sa ating tinatawag na stock card. Remember, kapag ka periodic inventory system, ending inventory is based on the physical count due to periodic counting of materials. Kapag ka naman po perpetual inventory system, in every purchase and in every issuance to production, ina-update po natin ang balanse ng ating materials inventory. Okay, say hello to these two forms that we use in the production process relating to materials. Ito po yung binabanggit nating inventory stock card. It is a form that is used in production that records the movement of inventory between all material purchases or yung pumasok sa storage kasi binili natin, and then usage in production, lumabas naman sa storage kasi ginagamit na sa production, and the balance after each activity. So in filling up the inventory stock card, lalagay po natin yung item name kung ano man pong raw material yun. Syempre may mga company na more than one kind of raw materials yung meron po sila. And then, kung medyo may inarte yung company mo, may item code din po tayo. Lalo na po kapag yung atin pong accounting system ay naka-automated. So, syempre, kailangan po natin ng mga item codes na gagawin po nating unique yung raw material na yon over sa ibang raw material sa ating pong records. Okay? So, you put the date of the transaction, lalagay mo yung beginning balance dito, and then kapag ka po tayo ay bumili, syempre magkakaroon po tayo ng bagong inventory. Yung binili po natin, ipapasok po natin sa warehouse, ipapasok natin sa storage. Lagay mo po yung number of units dito, kung magkano isa, and the total amount. Kapag naman po tayo ay naglabas na ng parang ilang number of units para gamitin sa production process, kung ilan po yung nilabas natin, kung magkano rin po yung unit cost is kada isa, and then the amount of that. After every receipt and issuance, tayo po ay magko-compute ng balanse, and the cycle goes on until we proceed or we end the production process during the period at magkakaroon po tayo ng ending balance or ending raw materials inventory. Mamaya po, mayroon tayong filling up ng inventory stock card. Another form that you need to know is yung ating pong tinatawag na materials requisition form. This is a form that is used as a basis for the recording of raw materials issuance. Okay, from the word itself, requisition, materials request. Ganito po yan nangyayari dyan. Step 1, someone in production will fill out the form to request for materials approved by the production manager. Kunyari, yung mga trabahador dun sa production, parang kulang na yung materials natin, kailangan na uling mag-request sa ating storage, sa ating warehouse. So, if-fill up po ngayon itong materials requisition. Materials requisition form number, pero syempre pre-numbered na yan kapag sa company. Anong date fill up? Saang job related? Pagdating po natin ng job order costing system, lalagay po nyo dyan kung saang job related. Job number 143, job number 276, job number 375. Ganun siya, okay? And then kung saang pong department yung nagre-request ng materials. Assembly department, finishing department, packaging department, painting department, depende. Okay? Tapos, lalagay lang po natin yung description, yung quantity, yung unit cost, and amount. Siyempre, yung nag-request, siya ang pipirma dito. Ngayon, hindi po basta-basta makaka-request ng materials, no? I-determine muna ni production manager kung talagang kailangan na nung materials na yon. Okay? Tsaka niya i-approve itong materials requisition. Now, step 2 ngayon. The form will be forwarded to the warehouse to be notified of the materials needed. Pag dumating yung materials requisition form dun sa ating warehouse and storage, syempre malalaman nila, ay si assembly department nanghihingi ng 5 units ng ganito. Okay? So, manonotify sila. Ihahanda ngayon yun sa storage para i-issue, no? So, ang mangyayari kapag ready ng i-issue, step 3 na tayo. The storage clerk releases the materials requested by the department concerned. So, syempre, pag i-release na siya, in-issue na natin, di ba? Nilabas na natin sa production. So, syempre, ang pipirma sa received by, yung magre-receive ng materials na ni-request. Okay? Tas ang released by, usually, kung sino po yung inventory or warehouse clerk. Laging pong tatandaan na yung materials requisition form, ito po yung basis natin or ito po yung form na ating ginagamit na evidence na ito po yung number and amount of materials na na-issue natin sa production. So, ano po ang kanilang relationship with the inventory stock card? Balik tayo dun sa stock card, mga kapatid. Okay. Remember sa ating stock card, meron tayong issuances column, 'di ba? Ano nga po uli ibig sabihin ng issuances? Lahat ng materials na lumabas doon sa storage, lahat ng materials na lumabas doon sa warehouse. Ano ang related niya ngayon na form? Siyempre, yung atin pong materials requisition. So, ibig sabihin po, kada isang issuance may materials requisition. Kada issuance na transaction or may ilalabas tayo sa storage, isang materials requisition. So, dapat po magbabangga yung issuance column ng ating stock card versus materials requisition form. Okay? Again, dapat po magpapantay lahat ng materials requisition form versus lahat ng transactions na nasa issuance column. O sige, lagyan natin ng example. Kunyari, dito sa ating inventory stock card, may 4 na transaction ng issuances ng materials. Pero, ang available lang na materials requisition na evidence, 3. Ano kayang ibig sabihin nun? May issuance sa stock card ng inventory, pero 3 lang ang materials requisition. Ano kayang ibig sabihin nun? Merong na-issue na materials na walang materials requisition. Kailangan po yung imbestigahan. Okay? Kasi, 4 yung issuance transaction mo, 3 lang yung materials requisition. Iimbestigahan mo, bakit may na-issue or may na-record na in-issue tayong materials, pero yung materials requisition, hindi siya supported. Diba? Hindi siya supported ng materials requisition. So, kailangan imbestigahan saan napunta yung isang issuance na nangyari. Baliktarin naman natin. 4 ang materials requisition form, 3 lang ang nasa issuance column na transaction. So, ito, medyo magaan lang yon, no? Hindi naman ganun kailangang imbestigahan. Pwede ang nangyari, yung materials requisition na yon is talagang hindi pa nakarating sa ating inventory storage, kaya hindi pa nare-release yung materials, kaya wala pa pong naka-record sa ating inventory stock card. Okay? So, yung mga forms po na yan ay ginagamit po natin for control purposes. Dapat po lahat yan nagbabangga-bangga. Okay? Ngayon po, yung ating pong materials requisition form is binibigyan po natin ng kopya si Cost Accounting Department, because that will be the basis for the cost accounting department to do the entry, debit, work in process inventory, credit, raw materials inventory. Ano po yung amount ng materials na charge natin sa production. On an internal control perspective, dapat po magpapantay lahat ng issuance na nasa stock card versus lahat ng materials requisition na available na form. Okay? At saka yung materials requisition para hindi nauulit yan. Kasi pwedeng, malay nyo, merong empleyado sa production na type niya yung materials, inuuwi niya sa bahay. Tapos, so dapat po talaga, syempre, approved yung ating materials requisition. Tapos, kada may nagagamit po tayong materials requisition, once tapos na po yung issuance nung materials na yon, ini-stamp din po natin siya ng received. Okay? Or ano na siya, parang, basta may stamp na used na yung form, ganun, para hindi po nauulit. Okay? So, proper approval, proper releasing, proper receipt, and nagbabangga-bangga lahat ng records natin. Okay, so let's just review some of our journal entries. Remember that under perpetual inventory system, we debit raw materials inventory and credit accounts payable in any case that we purchased our raw materials on account. E di credit mo sa cash kung cash binili ng company, okay? And then in any case that kailangan nating magbalik sa supplier ng atin pong inventory or raw materials dahil medyo low quality, inferior, mali yung kulay, may putol, okay? So, debit accounts payable para mawala yung ating utang, then credit raw materials inventory para mawala siya sa ating inventory records. When you are ready to issue them to production, debit work in process inventory, debit manufacturing overhead. So, the debit mo sa work in process inventory, yung direct materials lang. Yung manufacturing overhead, lahat ng indirect materials, and then tatanggalin mo na po siya sa raw materials inventory. Ano po ang basis nitong transaction na ito? Saan po natin kukuning record? Doon po sa ating materials requisition form. Kasi nag-request ng materials coming from the storage going to production. Ibig sabihin, yun na po yung transaction na kaya kami materials requisition form kasi ni-request na ni production na penge kami ng materials galing sa storage. So, in-issue na sa production. Okay? And then in any case, nagkaroon po ng return, debit raw materials inventory, credit work in process inventory, credit manufacturing overhead. Kung sakali lang po na merong direct and indirect materials na excess na hindi na po nagamit sa production, babalik po natin sa storage. Pag nagbayad ka naman po ng raw materials sa suppliers, you simply debit accounts payable and credit cash for the transaction. And then, in any case po na binibigyan tayo ng discount, wag pong kakalimutan yung mga purchase discounts. So, depende sa recording ng company kung maglalagay ng purchase discount na account title or depende po kung makakabawas talaga siya sa cost, baka pwede nyo nang idiretso sa raw materials inventory account. Okay? So, yun po. Kasi pag periodic system, 'di ba, talaga magkakaroon ka ng purchase discount, no? So, depende po sa sistema ng manufacturing kung ano po yung trip nilang gamiting account title to represent discounts. Okay. So, what about freight in? Always remember po na ang freight charges ay parte ng product cost kasi hindi po makakarating yung ating materials if we will not be paying also for the freight charges. Okay? So, under perpetual inventory system, you just debit it directly to raw materials. You will be also using the raw materials account. And then for periodic inventory system, dalawa entry mo. Isa for purchases, so debit purchases, credit accounts payable, and then another one for your freight in. Debit freight in, credit cash. Okay? Or debit freight and credit accounts payable. Depends on the payment terms. Okay? Now, freight can be allocated either through the invoice cost, the units purchased, or any other basis such as weights. Kasi po syempre, pag nagre-record tayo ng freight charges using the perpetual inventory system is kailangan po properly allocated lalo na po kung 2, 3, 4 na uri ng materials yung binibili mo. So, you can allocate, kasi kaya ina-allocate dahil yung bayad mo sa freight, isahan lang naman. Pwedeng yung delivery mo ng iba-ibang kinds ng materials, isahan lang din. So, isahan lang yung purchase, yung bayad mo ng freight. So, the freight charges should really be allocated. It's either through invoice cost, the units purchased, or any other basis. Okay, let's talk about the following inventory cost flow methods. Entities can use the following cost flow methods in assigning raw materials cost. We have the first in, first out method and the moving average method. Okay, so to properly present you the first in, first out and the moving average method, let's have some problems. For problem number 1, let's use the FIFO method. Chimson Manufacturing provided you the following information. So may beginning inventory po tayo ng 2,000 units of materials at 50, and then sunod-sunod lang po na transaction. May purchase, may in-issue, may pinurchase uli, may in-issue sa production, may pinurchase uli, may in-issue sa production. Our requirement is to prepare the inventory stock card for Chimson Manufacturing for the month of October. Okay, This is what we do. So, syempre, ang gagamitin po natin yung inventory stock card. Ayan. Receipt, issuance, balance. First step po natin is ilalagay po natin si beginning inventory sa atin pong balance column. 2,000 units at 50 pesos each. Total beginning inventory is 100,000. Pagdating po natin ng October 3, nag-purchase daw po ng 3,000 units, which is the cost is 55. Okay? Dahil po nag-purchase si company ng materials, papasok po yan sa storage pag dumating na. So, si storage, i-receive yan, di ba? Lalagay po natin sa receipt column. Okay? 3,000 units na binili at 55, total is 165,000. Under the first in, first out method, you need to segregate them depending on the cost. So, dalawa na yung uri ng inventory natin. Isang 2,000 at 50 at isang 3,000 at 55. Now, what will be the basis for your 1,500 units na in-issue sa production noong October 9? Saan natin kukunin? Dahil first in, first out method, dun sa earliest inventory cost natin. So, uubusin po muna natin si 2,000 pesos. Kaya po yung 1,500 kukunin natin galing sa 2,000 units at 50 pesos na cost. 1,500 times 50 is 75,000. 2,000 minus 1,500, 500 na lang po yung inventory natin worth 50. Hindi pa natin nagagalaw si 3,000 at 55. Next transaction, nag-purchase po uli ng 2,000 units at 60 pesos. So, tatlo na po yung uri ng ating inventory. Isang 500 at 50, 3,000 at 55, and 2,000 at 60. Paano na po natin uubusin ngayon itong 3,600 units na in-issue sa production? Saan natin siya kukunin? Ubusin mo muna yung 500 na 50 pesos ang cost. Tapos, sufficient na rin si 3,000 para ubusin at 55. So, kung 3,000 at 500, kulang na lang tayo ng 100. Kunin natin yung 100 dun sa 2,000 units at 60 pesos. What will be the balance after that? Ubus na si 500, ubus na si 3,000, and then 2,000 minus 100, 1,900 units. Ang cost po niya, 60. Nag-purchase po uli ng 1,000 units at 65. And then, nag-issue po ng 1,500 units. Saan po natin kukunin yung 1,500 units? Dito po muna tayo sa 1,900. Ubusin natin yan. So, 1,500 is based on 60 pesos isa. 1,900 minus 1,500 is 400 units. Tapos, yung 1,000 units na binili natin, hindi pa po natin yun nagagalaw. Okay? So, ito na po yung ating completed inventory stock card. Labelan na po natin. Okay? So, ito pong column na to ay lahat ng in-issue natin sa production. So, yan po yung total materials used natin. So, assuming na yung problem po natin ay walang indirect materials dito, lahat po ng nasa issuance column natin ay pinasok natin sa production. 'Di ba? So, yan po yung ating direct materials used. Yung pinakahuli naman po nating item dito is the amount of the ending inventory of raw materials. Coming from that information, we can now create the materials section of the statement of cost of goods manufactured and sold. So, your raw materials inventory at the beginning of the period is this one, your 100,000. Add po natin lahat ng binili or the net purchases. Saan po natin kukunin yan? Sa receipt column. 165,000 plus 120,000 plus 65,000. Yun po yung ating lahat ng pinurchase during the period na 350,000, which will give us our raw materials available for use, 450,000. Now, at the end of the period, sabi sa ating stock card, ang natira daw po nating inventory is worth 89,000. Ibig sabihin, pag pinag-minus natin, yung pwede natin gamitin, minus yung ating natira, ang na-issue po natin sa production na direct materials is 361,000. The amount that you computed here should correspond with the materials used sa ating issuance. Bakit? Kasi lahat ng nasa issuance column, yan po yung in-issue natin sa production. Okay? Now, let's try naman po the same problem but using the moving average method. Remember po, pag moving average method, may bagong cost po tayo kada purchase. Okay, let's try this po. Same problem pero moving average method. Ganun din po, gagamit tayo ng stock cards. And the starting point is your beginning balance again of 2,000 units at 50 pesos isa. Now, bumili po tayo ng 3,000 units at 55, so that is 165,000. Now, ang gagawin po natin sa moving average method, nagkakaroon po tayo ng bagong cost per unit kada purchase transaction. 2,000 units plus 3,000 units is 5,000 units, and 100,000 pesos plus 165,000 pesos, your total cost ng iyong current inventory is 265,000. 265,000 divided by 5,000, you will get 53 pesos per unit. So, pag nagkaroon na po tayo ng issuance sa production, yun po ang susundin nating cost, yung 53. Tas update mo lang po yung iyong stock card, 5,000 units available, minus 1,500 issued to production, 3,500. 265,000 minus 79,500, 185,500, or simply 3,500 times 53, it's also 185,500. Then, you just continue the procedure. So, nagkaroon ka uli ng bagong purchase naman na 2,000 units at 60. 3,500 plus 2,000 is 5,500. 185,500 plus 120,000 is 305,500. Divide to 5,500, we have 55.55 na siya nang gagamitin ngayon nung 3,600 units na inisyo mo sa production, 55.55. Now, 5,500 minus 3,600 is 1,900 times 55.55, 105,545. Nagkaroon po uli ng purchase na 1,000 units at 65. So, magko-compute po tayo ng bagong average cost again in every purchase. 1,900 plus 1,000, 2,900. 105,545 plus 65,000, 170,549. Divided by 2,900 units, the new average cost is 58.81 na siya na pong gagamitin nung inisyo natin sa production na 1,500 units times 58.81, it's 88,215. Ang natira po sa ating storage is 1,400 units. Yung ating pong nasa issuance column, same drill. Yun po ang ating total cost of materials used. Kung wala pong indirect materials, yan na po yung direct materials used natin. Okay? And then, ito po yung ating ending inventory. Using that information, pwede na po tayo uling gumawa ng statement of cost of goods manufactured and sold materials section. Your beginning inventory is 100,000. Add po natin lahat ng pinurchase natin. Again, 165,000 plus 120,000 plus 65,000. That is your 350,000. Add your beginning inventory plus purchases. That is your raw materials available for use. Less ending inventory of 82,334. Your direct materials used is 367,666. Pero ang nasa issuance column po natin is 367,695. Meron lang po tayong konting discrepancy na 29 pesos, which is immaterial kasi nga po nagkakaroon po tayo ng rounding off. Saan po tayo nagra-rounding off? Kasi kada bagong purchase, nagko-compute po tayo ng bagong average cost. But it's still the same. Okay? So, ayan po ang ating focus discussion on materials, and our next is about paano naman po kapag ka periodic inventory system. Ito ay sobrang hapyaw na lang, no? So, di ba ito po yung ating formula or yung ating pong calculation para po sa direct materials. Ngayon po, kasi kanina ang ginawa natin, lahat ng amounts po dito ay makikita natin sa stock card. Eh di ba po, pagka periodic inventory system, we don't use stock cards at umaasa lang po tayo sa inventory count at the end of the period. So what happens is that yung ating pong information on raw materials inventory ending just depends on the physical count at the end of the period. Yun na po yung magiging basis natin ng materials issued to production. Kung ilan yung natira sa warehouse, yun na kasi yung iyong raw materials ending. Pag minus mo sa raw materials available for use, yun na yung direct materials issued to production. Thank you very much for listening, and our next lesson is, hindi pa rin po tayo tapos sa materials. We will be talking about naman po yung ating economic order quantity and just-in-time inventory system, which is pareho pong related sa discussion natin ng materials. Again, please like, share, and subscribe to Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH, and hit the notification bell button to alert you of the latest video lessons. For all of your questions, comments, and suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below, and for webinar and speakership invites, please send me a message at kevintroy.chua1994@gmail.com. This has been Sir Chua's Accounting Lessons PH College Edition. This is Cost Accounting and Control. To God be all the glory, honor, and praise. Thank you and have a great day. Sarangeo.